Thank you so much for your interest in our customer story video series. I'm very excited to get to talk to you today and learn more about Dustin and his beautiful diamond. What is your name?
My name is Hope Harrison.
And who is your beautiful diamond made from?
My beautiful diamond is made from the ashes of my dear sweet husband, Dustin Harrison.
Wonderful, great job. How would you best describe Dustin's personality?
Dustin's personality was very unique. He was very calm, very collective, very intelligent. He was a man of integrity, of honor, definitely genuine, very genuine.
I love that. What was Dustin's favorite thing to do?
Dustin loved flying. He's a pilot. He's a pilot. Dustin loved flying. He's a pilot. You know, that's why he went into aviation, was his love for flying ever since he was a child. He knew that's what he wanted to do, but he liked anything that was risky, anything that was kind of dangerous. You know, he loved riding motorcycles. You know, he wanted to go bungee jumping, and I was not for that, but yeah, he loved flying though.
Did he ever go skydiving?
He wanted to. He was trying to get me to do that with him. That's what he was waiting on. I'm complete opposite. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of driving down the street. So Dustin, we balanced each other out. But yeah, he loved anything kind of risky.
So was Dustin like a commercial pilot? Did he fly in the Air Force? What was his?
He was a civilian contractor pilot. He worked for a company that worked for the military. So he was doing special missions overseas.
That sounds like a really exciting job.
Exciting, yes. He loved it. Yeah. You know, it was a sense of honor with it. You know, he was doing something with purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, he the only drawback was the time away from us, the distance from us, his family. So that was the only drawback. But he loved his job. You know, he loved what he did. It was, like I said, there was honor in it, purpose in it, and being the person that he was, knowing that he was doing something that made a difference.
Dustin sounds like a very noble person.
Very noble, extremely. That's the best way to describe him. He's just a noble soul.
What do you have the most pictures of Dustin doing?
The most pictures I have of my husband, Dustin, is just being with family, or on his motorcycle, but just being with myself, his daughter, his mother, his sister. You know, he was always just that was one of his biggest passions was his family. Aside from aviation, first in his life, priority was his family.
You said that you're not quite as much a thrill seeker as Dustin was, but would you ever ride with him on his motorcycle?
Yes, I he coaxed me on his motorcycle several times, and I would always tell him, honey, you know, go at a pace where I'm not gonna like fall off, or just go at a normal pace. Don't go above the speed limit. And for about 30% of the ride, we would go the speed limit, but then he'd find roads that he can just take off, and he'd tell me, hang on, and I knew what was coming, and but that was, you know, that was fun to him, and I knew it. So yeah, he would definitely push the limit on his bike with me on it. But yeah, you know, he took me flying, and I've always been afraid of heights. I've always been afraid to fly in airplanes, but he you know, I would go flying with him, and he would just take me on at sunset, you know, sometimes, and we'd watch the sunset from the sky. He took our daughter, I was about 8 months pregnant. He took me up and at sunset, and you know, that was her first airplane ride with Daddy, so it was nice.
That sounds so beautiful, watching the sunset from the sky.
Watching the sunset from the sky was an experience that I've you know, only he could have given me. You know, he was kind of like my knight in shining armor. You know, he was definitely the one that, you know, God sent to me specifically for a reason, and that was to show me love.
Oh, that's wonderful. What's your favorite memory that you and Dustin share together?
Gosh, so many. I think probably I'm gonna try and say this without crying. Probably our last family date, because he loves aviation and he really wanted his daughter to grow up in the aviation world, and know about airplanes. And, his dream for her was to join the Air Force. And so he took us on a family date the day before he left overseas. And we went to the Pima Air Museum in Tucson, Arizona. And, the reason why it was such a special memory was, it was our last family date, but he just, seeing the joy in his eyes and, just putting her on different airplanes and getting in the airplanes with her, and just, they had ice cream together, which they both loved ice cream. So we had lunch there at the aviation museum, and their favorite meals, our favorite meal is hamburger and fries. So we had hamburger and fries, and then he and our daughter shared ice cream together. After that, we went home and just had a family nap, which was another one of my special moments with him. It's not always about the big moments. A lot of times it's all the little moments combined that are special. So we shared a family nap, and that day was just too perfect. I remember just looking at him and my daughter sleeping and just thinking, man, life doesn't get much better than this. And, I believe there is a reason that it was just so perfect, and, last moments together.
Right. That's so beautifully said. That sounds like quite a wonderful day. What would you say that you miss the most about Dustin?
Oh gosh. Everything, like I said, he was kind of the knight in shining armor coming into my life. I miss everything about him, the security that he offered, the love that he showed. He was always the little things. He was all about the little things, the little moments. And, whether it was just holding my hand while we're watching TV, or putting his arm around my shoulder while we're walking around in the store, or, sometimes he would bring myself and our daughter Rose's home just because, just to let us know, like, he was always thinking about us. He would, I miss everything about him. It's hard to pinpoint one thing, but if I had to miss, or if I had to choose one thing that I miss the most, it would just, his presence, his laugh, his smile, his presence.
Oh, well, and why did you decide to honor Dustin's memory by turning him into a diamond?
I decided to honor my husband, his honor, by turning him into a diamond, because of what it signifies. Just the process of the ashes being turned into a diamond. I feel like that's kind of what my life is currently. I feel like my life has been just, I feel like I'm just standing in the ashes of my old life. And I know if one day, as a believer, my ashes will be a diamond, and I will be able to honor my husband one day, and tell my story, tell his story. And, but I just, aside from just what it means, I wanted to have something to pass down to our daughter when she is older. So I turned it into, his ashes into a wedding band. That way she has a wedding band for when she's older and is wanting to walk down the aisle. He will walk down the aisle with her.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. Would you mind showing your diamond, like holding it up closer to the camera, just so we can all see it? It's so beautiful.
Yeah. So it's it's the wedding band, and then the actual diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. It's so timeless and elegant, and I think that it will, when you pass it down to your daughter, it'll be a great way for her to remember her father.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love I just love everything about it. You know, when I sent Eterneva the example of what I was envisioning, and you guys definitely created it to be so much more than what I envisioned in my mind. So beautiful.
I'm glad to hear that. It's very beautiful.
Definitely.
So what have been some of the reactions to your diamond?
Oh wow. So I've some of the reactions to my diamond have been just very you know, it's very, very emotional. A lot of my friends have just speechless when they look at it, you know, amazed at how out of ashes something so beautiful was created, just the elegance of it. You know, it's definitely eye-catching. So a lot of great reactions.
Oh, that's good to hear. So how do you think that Dustin would ultimately want to be remembered?
My husband, knowing my husband, he would like to be remembered as a man of integrity, a man of his word, a man of honor.
That's from how you've described him. That's exactly how I'm picturing him.
He definitely was. He was, you know, he was always on time. You know, he was, you know, this has been a very extremely time just because he was always present. You know, he would FaceTime and call us, Skype us every single day for hours. I would just prop the phone up and he would watch our daughter play. He didn't want to miss any parts of her life, and he was always just there. So I knew I can count on him. And he was, whether it would be, you know, honey, the sink is broken, or you know, the car's not running right. Even being overseas, he found a way to fix it. So it's been a little difficult. Okay, hold on. It's been a little difficult to just manage life on our own after having somebody like that who was just always present, took care of you know, all the stuff that I just, as a female, may not know about. But you know, he's definitely missed. But you know, we're living life and we're doing it in honor of him. And when I come across situations that I'm not sure about, I tell myself, what would my husband do if he were overseas right now? He'd definitely have me call someone that I can trust. So yeah.
And how has Dustin's passing affected your views on life and death?
Dustin's passing has affected my views on life and death. You know, just appreciate life the way it is right now. It's not always going to be good days. You're going to have bad days. Appreciate those who are in your life. You know, my daughter, my sons, my family, my friends. Just appreciate the moments. You know, like I mentioned before, it's not always about the big moments. It's all the little moments that we just take for granted sometimes and don't realize, like, could be our last day, so make it count.
Right. That's beautiful. What did Dustin teach you about, I mean, this kind of goes into the last question I asked, but is there any like specific lesson that he taught you about life?
My husband, Dustin, taught me about life is, again, kind of like what you said before. It kind of goes into the next question, but life is about being the best version of yourself that you could be. He was definitely a goal-getter. He always was, you know, whether it was his fitness or his profession or being a father or a husband, he was always wanting to be the best that he can be. You know, he would read books on how to be a better husband. He would read articles on you know, how to, you know, raise a daughter, or just things. You know, he mentioned to me, honey, you know, he didn't have any other kids other than my daughter. I don't really know about raising a daughter, but I can learn, you know, so I'll start reading some articles and things online. So my husband was all about being just the best version of yourself possible, doing the steps that you need to do to be the best version. You know, he would work out consistently, he would eat right. My husband was, 47 with a six-pack year round. You know, he was always just really fit. But my husband took the time to, and he put the effort in to be the best version of himself that he could be. So I think I learned from my husband that just to do what you need to do daily to just be the best version of yourself possible. And then also, life is about the little moments. You know, he wasn't real big on buying a lot of stuff for the holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmases. I mean, he would buy a few things here and there, but to him, it was about year round, showing that person that you love them, you know, with a rose on a random day, or just, hey, honey, it's a Friday, you know, let's go have a picnic at the park. And he would take a blanket, buy some sandwiches, and, you know, buy some sodas, and we'd set up and have a picnic on, you know, at the park on a Friday night, just randomly. So he was all about the little moments. And so I think for me, it's just, you know, just those little moments with my family and friends that really make life what it is.
I love that so much. I feel like a lot of people, you know, shy away from things that they don't know too much about because it can be intimidating. But it sounds like Dustin would just, like, you know, be on it. Like, if he didn't know something, he would, you know, go out and take the time to learn it too, so that he could, like, provide for you and for your daughter and for himself.
No, he did. You know, Dustin was definitely that person who, he did everything, you know, whether it was, I remember I told him I wanted to go get my nails done. I was never really into doing my nails and getting, you know, going and getting them done at the salon, but I had mentioned it to him that I wanted to get it done. And he said, well, hun, I can just do some research and I can do your nails for you. I'll just use one of my hand drills and get all the pieces, the connections, and I can just do it for you. And I'm thinking, you with one of your hand drills, with, you know, the little spools, whatever they're called, doing my nails is a little intimidating. But he was willing to put the effort in to do a little research, buy all the tools necessary so that he can just do my nails himself every other week, and that way I wouldn't have to go to a salon. So whether it was the girly stuff, you know, he helped me dye my hair one time and, you know, we were in the bathroom and he's like putting dye in my hair, and in the kitchen he'd cook, you know, out on the garage we'd work on the brakes together. You know, I'd sit out there and I'd help him change our brakes. So it didn't matter what area of life it was, he was all about, well, let's try and do it ourselves. And so I really like that about him. You know, he's that's why he was, as you know, he's just intelligent. Everybody that knew him knew, well, ask Dustin, you know, he probably knows. So definitely, yeah, a unique person, unique soul.
What do you think Dustin would want to tell people watching this video?
Dustin would want anyone who's watching this video to know that life is precious. Family is a good thing. You know, marriage is, he loved marriage. Dustin was definitely made to be a married man and a father. You know, he wanted to be an example to my sons of a good husband, a good role model, and a good father to our daughter. And but I think his message to the world was just be a good human being. You know, just be kind to others, respect others, be the best version of yourself that you can be, because when you are the best version of yourself that you can be, that's only going to add to the world. Just another good person, you know, just be the best person you can be kind, you know, and, you know, if you can, if you're in the position, always help someone in need, and just be a good example to those that need that.
That is so beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing Dustin's story with me.